Hello, everybody. I'm finally home. Don't mind all the lights for my St. Patrick's Day tree over here. Today, we have something really interesting to talk about. Excuse me. Okay, this is America's birthday. We always run the chart from 5:10 p.m. at Philadelphia, Pennsylvania on July 4th, 1776, which is the day that America took its first breath. Now, a lot of people will argue that we should count it from the signing of the Constitution or from other various times. There's like some debate, but generally speaking, most astrologers count this as the moment. This is the moment that I think it was John Hancock came and signed as John Hancock, right? He put the first signature on the Declaration of Independence. I understand the argument for counting from the signing of the Constitution, but I feel like that's kind of counting. It's like counting somebody's life from their baptism instead of their birth. Like you count from their birth. Like, yeah, there's like important stuff that happens in your life that's going to impact you for the rest of your life, but you start at the birth. This was the birth of America. Now, this is the thing that we really have to pay attention to here. This is Chiron at 20 degrees of Aries. So let's take a step back and talk about America's birthday as a concept. So what we are looking at when we look at this chart is kind of the symbolic map of our entire nation and its mission in the world, how it shows up in the world, and then every single little thing that you see on here has a little message about a different aspect of us nationally and how we show up in the world. So this guy is really important, and I will show you why. Oh, oops, double chart. It's time for a double chart, guys. Recently used, America's birthday. This is why it matters. America's birthday is on the outside, the eclipse is on the inside here, but do you see that this is lined up right to this? This eclipse is happening at 19 degrees of Aries. Do you see that these are all at 19? The sun, the moon, and Chiron right here are super tight, super tight at 19 degrees. And America's birthday Chiron is at 20 degrees. So we're looking at a Chiron return for the nation. And so that kind of, we need to talk about Chiron returns. So Chiron is on about a 49-year cycle. It's a little erratic, but it's about 49 years. And so when people become 49 years old, they have a Chiron return. And so that is another kind of form of midlife crisis for a lot of people. A lot of times, a lot of their, unhealed wounds from their life show up at that time. And it's a gift to them to help them realize what else they need to do to get to that next layer of healing. A lot of people don't appreciate this gift. They don't take advantage of it. They just simmer in their own woundedness and don't take the mess and get the message. Okay. So when your life's a mess, you ask for the message. Okay. That is the big deal with Chiron, because Chiron deals with our deepest soul wound and our greatest gifts, our greatest potential, our greatest talents. Okay. Where Chiron is in your chart, you can be an ultimate master, and it's going to come with some wounds that you need to work through. So it's really interesting that this eclipse is happening so tightly to America's Chiron. And when I look at this, I mean, immediately I thought, oh boy, the phrase that comes to my mind is the chickens are coming home to roost. Notice my sweet chicken basket right there. Doo -doo, so good. I love it so much. That's how we collect our eggs. Okay. But the chickens are coming home to roost. And to make it more interesting, this is all directly across from Saturn. This is America's natal Saturn. And Saturn is the planet of karma. It's the planet of the law of the harvest and paying for the stuff that you've done. And so it's really interesting that this nodal axis, these little horseshoes that are part of what create this eclipse, these are mathematical points based on the movement of the moon. Look at that, 15 degrees of Libra, 14 degrees of Libra. Look how close that is. And then, of course, over here is the North Node, 4 degrees away from all of this business. And I'm looking at that and thinking, okay, we are about to enter into a pretty serious phase where America's deepest soul wounds are going to be triggered so that we can heal them. which is great. But we're also going to find ourselves in a situation where we're going to reap some kind of a harvest. That is always the message of Saturn. Where Saturn is showing up, you're receiving a harvest. Is that harvest good or is it bad? Right? And it kind of depends on the seeds that you plant, which is a theme that we've been talking about for the past couple of weeks, that, as you sow, so shall you reap. If you're going to plant apple seeds, you're going to get an apple tree. You can't grow an orange tree from an apple seed. But the real question to be asking is, what seeds has this nation been planting? And I think there's an argument to be made for a whole bunch of different kinds of seeds, of all kinds. And sure, some might be good, but there's a lot that when the harvest comes home, we may not like what that looks like. And so we're going to have to see for ourselves how that plays out. But I just wanted to bring it to our attention that when we take a step back, I mean, these eclipses are going to affect us personally, and you may have already been personally affected. I will say during the lunar eclipse last night, I'm like, can I even say what I was up to? I probably can't, but let's just say we were filming a finale of something really interesting. And that is a big transition, right? But we all have these like personal situations. I've been getting texts all day from people who had like personal stuff show up during this eclipse, like to the moment of the eclipse, having crazy stuff show up. And these eclipses are very personal. All of us are going to have personal effects from this planetary motion. But at the same time, we are also going to see some big national effects from this, I believe. I believe we're going to see some big shifts in the power structures in play, because it's all going to come back to this issue of harvest. What kind of harvest are we going to reap? What kind of wound is going to trigger so that we can heal it? But when wounds trigger so that they can be healed, it is rarely fun. When your body is always trying to maintain homeostasis, right? Like your body is always trying hard to make sure that everything is in flow and balance. And your body actually does an amazing job. Your body, 10 out of 10. Pat yourself on the back, even if you feel like your body is letting you down significantly. Your body has done an incredible job. If you're alive, it's rocking it, okay? But the fact does remain that when things get so far out of balance that your body can no longer adjust for it, that's when the symptoms show up, okay? That's when that Chiron energy shows up, the wound, okay? That's when you start having the hormone issues. That's when you start having the chronic pain. That's when you start having the nervous system issues and like chronically living in fight or flight. It's when there's something in your system that is so far out of balance. Your body's trying, but it just can't keep up with how out of balance it is. When these symptoms show up, it's a huge pain in the butt. Nobody wants to have chronic pain. Nobody wants to have nervous system disorders. Nobody wants this, but it is a gift to us because it is showing us what needs to change. Okay. I really believe that there are no such thing, like, how do I put it? Symptoms are not the bad guy. I feel like symptoms are the good guy. Symptoms are your body's attempt to help you put on the detective hat and figure out what's going on. When you see a symptom, you know that the symptom is the result of your body doing its very best to fix the problem. So we take a step back and say, why did the body think that the best solution here was high blood pressure? Why did the body think that the best solution here was endometriosis? Why did the body think the best solution here was whatever the problem is? And we take a step back and we take a real look at our lives and say, okay, well, maybe all of these hormone problems that I'm having are my body's best response to my crappy diet. I mean, I'm only eating preservatives and McDonald's. And so, my body's doing the best it can with crappy ingredients, or, what have you. You go through your list of symptoms and you ask yourself, body, why is this the best solution? Why is this what we're doing? And your body, you can close your eyes and imagine your body's response to you, and your body will give you smart answers, and it'll feel like you're making them up. It's okay. Just write them down and take them for what they are, which is the answers that you and your body made up together, which is really important. But our bodies are always doing their best. And I kind of feel like America's natal chart, with all this Chiron energy triggering both personally and nationally, it's going to be kind of the same thing. These symptoms of karmic failure are going to be showing up and rearing their ugly head. And we have to understand that every time a system collapses, every time that something fails or falls, that is a symptom of something much bigger and much worse. And that collapse or that failure is a gift to us so that we can hopefully see clearly what's going on. We gotta take a step back and look for the underlying situation that's coming to the fore. I feel like I'm just saying a bunch of words. I'm like not totally sure. I don't know what is going to happen, but I think as things begin to unfold, these are some of the energies that we're going to want to keep an eye on. We're going to see the boomerang come back. All the stuff we've thrown out into the world, personally and nationally, it's going to come boomeranging back. Is it going to whack you in the head, or are you going to pluck it from the air and keep it from hurting yourself? These are questions to ask ourselves personally. On a national level, can we personally do much about it? Maybe. And it's our job to ask God what God thinks that we should do to be involved with anything. God knows what is a good use of our time and not a good use of our time. I always feel like I'm willing to do a lot of things, but it better not waste my time. So I'm like, God, will this waste my time? Is this a good use of my time? We can ask God, and God can tell us the answer to that. But okay, final thought. Remember, we're not probably looking at a bunch of collapses and crazy stuff on April 8th. That's silly, I think. I don't think that makes sense. I mean, maybe we'll all come back and laugh at me on April 9th, but I just don't think that makes sense. I think it's going to be a kind of a normal day, but it will be the day that the door opens, okay? A door that was previously closed is going to open at that time on a spiritual level, on an energy level, on a global, planetary, and national level. A new door is going to be opening that day. That day, are a bunch of things going to come through the door? I don't know about that. I think what we're going to see is we're going to walk into a kind of a new era where some new flavors of events are going to be showing up for us that will be clear if we have the eyes to see and we're putting the pieces together. And if we don't, it's just going to look like more chaos, more of like, the stupid news cycle. I don't watch the news anymore. I keep up with it a little bit, but I used to be a big news person and now I'm not, but like, you know what it's like on the news. It's always this and that. And, they make a living by freaking everybody out. And it will just seem like kind of more of the same of that. But we've just got to keep an eye on it, stay connected with our creator. And yeah, anyway, that's something that I thought was really interesting about what's coming up, that America's birthday connection here with that 20-degree Chiron. I thought, oh boy, this is real. We're having a Chiron return for the United States of America, united with an eclipse, and this is serious business. We're going to see some big soul wounds pop up. Aries deals with the physical body, and it deals with WAR. So I'm like very interested to see what this, how this could play out. But the biggest thing to remember is that our most important job is to get out of war with ourselves. Your worst enemy and your best friend is yourself. If you can transform your relationship with yourself from one of war to one of peace, you will be a force for peace everywhere that you go. So I'm going to vote that we use this eclipse portal that just opened to become forces of peace ourselves. Okay, let's go ahead and take a super quick look at emilydoesatclasses.com. I feel like I'm so behind with this eclipse portal because I just felt no inspiration for how to manage it. In the past, I've done challenges and meditations and I've recorded live sessions and maybe I will for this one, but I don't have a super plan to yet. I was just planning to scroll through here and see if any of these caught my eye for today. Hold on, guys, hold on. Okay, this is the one, motivation session. Okay, this is the one I'm gonna recommend for today. Okay, oops, I need to edit this little part. We'll be recording live on Saturday, October the 7th. Totally did that, and now it's in there. Okay, this is the session I'm gonna recommend for today. Thank you guys for being here. I love being friends with you. Thanks for your nice comments. I usually read them even if I don't have time to respond on my like tiny phone as I'm dealing with my kids and everything, but I just love you so much and I appreciate you. I hope that you have a fabulous day. See you tomorrow.